This is just going to be a short walk around of the newest member of my fleet. When I say new, we actually got it on the 10th of July. I thought I was going to lose my job, so we gave up our finance Dacia Duster car, and we decided to just buy outright a second-hand car. Thankfully now I've now found another job. However, I'm enjoying the extra free money that I have every month now that I don't have to pay towards finance. So on the 10th of July we picked up this. It is a 2007 Mini Cooper 1.6. It's the facelifted version. Well, it's actually completely new. The R56, which came out in 2006. Has the 1.6 litre Peugeot engine in it. 90,000 miles. We'll take a quick walk around it first of all. It's in fairly good condition bodily. There's not really too many marks or dings. I think it's been well looked after. It's Astro Black Metallic, you call this colour. It's got the tinted rear windows. It's actually got alloy wheels from an earlier R50 Mini as well for some reason. I think they look pretty good. Have a look inside. Sorry, I didn't set the steering wheel straight for the video. Should have done that. So this is the new dashboard of the R56. It's a really large instrument cluster there. Now, in order to activate everything, you don't put a key in ignition anymore. You've got a slot. Goes in like that. And then you can press the stop-start button. The start button. Oh, now I've got the door open. It doesn't like that. There we go. So in this car, you have all the sort of rows of switches down here, which is very inconvenient for the electric windows. I would expect them to be there, but I think it's in the aid of aesthetics that they're down there. So electric windows, front and rear fog lights, that's to lock the doors. Air conditioning, which doesn't blow hot in this car as I would expect. Recirculation, heated rear window, that's your directional control for your ventilation system. That makes the radio come on and off. These are just all your settings when you put the radio on. I'll put it on, I'll turn it down so we don't have to worry about copyright. So that's your FM, AM, that's your fuel gauge. Rev counter, 90,000 miles. Now there's various things that this can tell you. One of the buttons, was it this one? Oh, I don't know. Oh no, right, we don't want to touch that. That's to do with the tyre pressure. So we'll just leave that. But when you're driving along, there's an information centre as well. It has, because it's the Cooper, it's got the 6-speed gearbox. That's great, relaxing cruising in the motorway. At 70 miles per hour, you're just under 3,000 revs, so nice and relaxed cruising. Let's try and get these in. The seats are really comfortable. They support you up at your upper back as well as your lower back. Nice wide bases, good bolstering, very comfortable seats indeed. Reasonable amount of room in the back. My son has no problems there. You can see the difference, the distance there. We'll show you the boot though, because it is very small. Got these retro kind of vents. Again, the whole thing is supposed to be echoing back to the original Mini. I just try to think of it as a kind of a general retro car rather than an actual Mini. I really like the styling of it. Everything's been thought about. There's nothing dull or boring about it. and the Cooper you get these sort of added sort of silver trim pieces, which does brighten it up. So I really like the interior. It's really quite stylish. We'll go back outside and we'll look at the boot. Pop it out. It does like to bong at you for absolutely everything, from bulbs. I'll show you the boot. Very, very small indeed. Really small, but the seats do fold down really easily. No bother at all. I'll show you the engine. Main difference you notice with these later ones is the headlights stay in position. So this is the Prince engine, 1.6 litre. Same as used as in Peugeots and Citroens of the era. I think it's got about 120 brake horsepower. Really quite nippy, plenty to pull the car along. So there we have it, 2007 Mini Cooper R56. Now I've had quite a few problems with this car since I got it. The first thing I did was I replaced the tyres, discs and pads, front and back. I was having a problem where the pad wasn't sitting correctly on the disc, meaning that this area here was the pad wasn't pressing against it. That was more to do with the design of the pads that I had. So I fixed that, that's now working. Unfortunately the engine is rather problematic, shall we say. The first thing that went wrong with it was the Venos solenoids light kept coming up, throwing an engine light on the dashboard, but an oil change cured that. Unfortunately, as soon as we did the oil change, that's when the problem started. We used the correct grade of oil, and first of all the oil filter housing was leaking profusely. Huge oil leak from that, so we got that fixed, which involved the whole front of the car having to come off. And the other thing that also happened when we changed the oil to the correct grade is that we discovered that the valve stem oil seals are not in great shape. So when you're sitting at traffic lights or trundling around, say, a car park in a high gear at very low revs, as soon as you pull away, you get quite a considerable puff of smoke from the exhaust. However, the garage I took it to with a view to having all that replaced said that it wasn't the worst that they'd seen, so I'm just going to continue to drive it. It doesn't really affect anything. You just got to keep your eye on the oil level, and it drives perfectly quickly, perfectly fine, no running issues at all, so I'm just going to leave that one. The Prince engines minis, the early ones, 07 to I think 09, I think, to be honest, are to be avoided. But we got this one because it drove fine on the test drive, and it's in really good condition. Seems to have been quite well looked after, and it was cheap as well. I think it was the cheapest R56 that was on the market at the time. So just take care when you're buying one of these Prince engined R56. Better to go for a post 2010 one, but it does drive and handle extremely well. Very comfortable car on long journeys. It's a real cruiser. You think you're driving a bigger car. Does actually feel a wee bit like my old Rover 75 when it's cruising along the motorway. Very relaxed, 6 gears, nice suspension, not overly firm, great handling, doesn't roll in the corners. It's night and day from our old Dacia Duster. So on that side of things, definitely recommended. The negatives are very small boot, and the Prince engines can be unreliable, but overall still like the car. Wife absolutely loves it. It's ostensibly her car, so I still think it's sort of a reasonably successful purchase. Hopefully I have more updates to follow on my other fleet, which hasn't changed, but I think I'm going to do a few wee driving videos of other fleet members.